Saturday after work, I picked this up today. An old Mac bottom box and a Matco top box for a reasonable price. And then I cut my thumb making a sandwich. That's pitiful. Making a sandwich. Alright, since I got the majority of that 66 done, I have to catch up on other stuff that's been stacking up, which I did some of last weekend, and then I got lazy on Sunday, but that's okay. I'm going to pull this thing out and continue catching up. Numerous projects. Alright, here's the first thing I got to do. I got to give this thing a tune-up. It's a little 4.3 V6. It runs good and then it starts missing. I think it's ignition misfire. And part of the reason I suspect that is the wires are laying all over the manifolds where somebody had replaced them sometime before, and on the steering shaft, and about everything they could lay on they're laying on. And the cap and rotor don't look too good, so we're going to put all new plugs, wires, cap and rotor on it and see if that don't help it. Already repaired the AC a while back, and let's see if we can't make this thing run halfway decent. Alright, there's the aftermath of that. Well, there's some more there too. Let me throw all this crap away and move on to the next procedure, which is I need to bleed these brakes. They don't feel just right. And the fluid looks kind of nasty. Alright, we've bled the brakes. I've got the little miss here helping me. Now she's looking at the fuses, which is a good lesson for her. Alright, let me get busy. Alright, I think our work here is done. At least for the moment. The thing needs some tires pretty bad. And maybe even some different wheels. But let's see if it runs any better. Alright, now we got that other junker out of here. We gotta do a little more tune up to this. I think what I'm gonna do, since I drove it this morning, I'm gonna change the oil. It's been probably a year since I've done it. I doubt it's got 3,000 miles on it, but it's good to change it every now and again, seems like. And then I need to change the seal, the lower seal on the steering box, which sometimes can be a bit of a challenge, but we'll see how she goes. It's amazing how much that truck will warm this shop up. It's been sitting out baking in the sun. The whole thing's hot. It's like lighting a fire in here. Anyway, I'm not going to let that slow me up. I'm going to jack her up and drain some oil out. Well, I got the oil drained out of it and the new filter screwed on. And I also put the dust shield back on the transmission where I left it off the last time I was messing with this thing. I think I was having starter trouble. I better get that off. There, that's better. Anyway, I get to looking at the steering box. Better let me get my light. I thought previously it was leaking here. I've changed those seals before. It can be a real pain. But sometimes if you pull that pitman arm off and crank the truck up, turn the steering wheel all the way one way, it'll just blow that seal out. But the trouble is, I don't think it's leaking there. Looks like to me it's leaking here, and that shaft feels loose. So maybe what I'll do is just put a steering box on it. Let me call around and see if somebody's got one. Well, no parts stores around have one. That's okay. We'll set her down and fill it up with oil. Always want to do that whenever you drain it out. Make sure you fill it back up. And See, I need to snug up my valve cover bolts. Looks like they're leaking a little bit, and do some other odds and ends. And it might afford me the opportunity to do another project today. Alright, now if I can find some reserves of energy, I need to put a fuel filter on this thing. I need to chase some air leaks it's still got. I know where one is. Well, I know where two are. Maybe three. It holds air pretty good, but it leaks a little down. Maybe whether I know where they are is all there is. I don't know. And I've got to wrap up a wiring harness under there, which I forgot to do the last time it was in the air, like a big dummy. And I need to check the toe. I think the thing's towed out a good bit. I did call down to the local wheel alignment place, and it was told to me that they'd have to pass because this thing was too old and they couldn't ever get them right. Well, I guess I appreciate them being honest, but good grief. What's this world coming to? You can't do a wheel alignment? And I hadn't even got to the part about it has air ride. Alright, there is the fuel filter. You can probably see it's pretty plugged up. Now, you're really not supposed to put one between the tank and the fuel pump, but it runs alright as long as it's clear. So it seems to me it'd be a good idea to filter as much out as you can. But note to self, and anybody else who might be listening, don't put one like that where it can siphon out of the tank, or you'll take a bath in gasoline until you get the fuel filter back on there. Or leave enough hose you can pinch it with a pair of hose pinchers. I need to do a little welding on some exhaust hangers under that thing, but I think since I spilled some gas on the floor, I'll let it wait till tomorrow before I do that. So in the meantime, Little Man and I are here devising a wiring project. Little Man and I have discussed it. Even though we haven't got too far on our project, we're going to call it a day because he ain't feeling too healthy today. Are you up to ringing the bell?
I can do that.
And I'm hungry. Ring the bell. Alright, day is done.